If you turned on ESPN in November of 2022, you may well have seen something messed up. The Microsoft Excel World Championship. This ESPN broadcast was many people's first glimpse into the frightening world of Excel eSports, where data athletes duel one another using the world's foremost spreadsheet software. The weapon of choice for the world's analysts, actuaries, and other jobs I googled for this video, but mostly still don't understand. But whether any of us want it to or not, the world of Excel eSports is growing. Speaking as someone who specializes in games that are esoteric, unhinged, or just absolutely cursed, when I found out about these battles, I simply had to find out more. So come with me as I tell you all about the power of spreadsheets, what separates the Excel All-Stars from the data entry wannabes, and stick around to the end of this video to watch me and my colleague try an Excel battle of our own and race the world champion, even though we both have basically no Excel experience, so I'm sure that'll go well. Right. Allow me to be your guide to the world of Excel. Be not afraid. Don't you know, I'm a holder of a European computer driving license issued in 2005 that specifically says I understand basic concepts and can use the computer. While looking for this, I also found my old fake ID. Look at that. Anyway, let's start your journey. So let me start by saying that if you think Excel is boring, you're right. And if you don't know what the point of it is, you keep that up as long as possible, because figuring out how powerful spreadsheet software is, it's like staring into the heart of darkness. I lost my innocence researching this video. I will never be the same again. So here's the deal. Excel has all of these rows and columns because that's the most efficient way to store and reference data. Data being the raw stuff of human existence. Whether we're talking about finances, the logistics of a company or charity or invading army, the statistics of a nation or neighborhood or sports team, or whether you're simply a tech company excited to sell your users' data to advertising firms, a program like Excel is how you keep that data and how you explore or extrapolate it to answer problems or maximize the efficiency of whatever you're doing on this earth. It is no exaggeration to say that this planet you're on runs on spreadsheet software. And one more thing that should make the idea of Excel as an esport just a shade less ridiculous is that it is a joke among the video game developers that I know that people get into video games because they think it's going to be a cool job and then they just end up staring at Excel all day.
You have just hundreds of columns of data that somebody has to keep track of. Somebody's got to make 10,000 files of sound and keep track of which ones are done and which ones suck and which ones need to send back or whatever, right? So game designers come in and say, here's a column of sword damage, here's a column of hit points, here's how many hit points they gain per level, and build what is essentially a little prototype game engine in these spreadsheets and say, here's what, as I tweak the numbers, I can see what this virtual game being played is on this output tab, and basically prototype the game without the developers having to build the whole thing to try these numbers out.
I could talk more about what Excel is for and why it's so powerful, but frankly, Microsoft isn't paying me and I don't want to. So let's talk about the world of Excel eSports. So, how do you turn this world of rectangles and stuff at the top I don't understand into an arena of champions? Well, the story starts about 10 years ago in 2012, when some finance dudes made a contest for finance professionals called Model Off, in which contestants were given a fictional company's finances, like income and how much debt they had, and then had to race one another to create a financial forecast for that company. Now, when Model Off ended in 2019, one Andrew Grigol-Unovich replaced it with a contest of his own design, the Financial Modeling World Championship, which is still running today, with a prize fund of $25,000, which seems gauche to me. Like, surely a world-leading financial analyst doesn't need $25,000. I need $25,000. Anyway, Andrew had ambition. Not only did he bring out a line of truly striking Excel merchandise, he also saw the potential to bring the contest to a wider audience.
this really deserves to be like something with, with crowd, big prize money, all these huge paychecks, hosts, MCs on the stage, big sponsorship money, and so on and so on. So like imagine like a typical esports that you have.
There was just one problem. The contest was, let's say, inaccessible? What do you think held you back from taking the top spot back then?
You know what? I perfectly know what was that. I had to calculate some bank ratios there, like debt to EBITDA and DSCR ratios. And the problem was that we never calculated the interest income there, because like the interest income levels were very low, and like we just ignored them.
So Andrew had to reimagine the contest, this time thinking about what would make it entertaining to watch. And so he created the more accessible, tense, and strategic battles of XL eSports. This is what was broadcast on ESPN last year. Here's how it works. Where the Financial Modeling World Cup sees players modeling finances, contestants in an XL eSports match have no idea what they're going to be expected to do, only that it's going to be bonkers and they'll have just 30 minutes to do it. Here are just a few of the wild case studies that have appeared in the eSports so far. A country is trying out different styles of voting in a total of 100 elections. Contestants have to tabulate votes for different political parties. However, in some of these elections, your vote counts double if you voted for the same party as the previous voter, and in another set of elections, the voting machines broke. In another case, the cells of XL had been turned into a city map, and players have to calculate the shortest distances for dozens of possible journeys. Or the first case of 2023 showed a nightmare game of whack-a-mole, where certain cells contained moles, except also some of these moles would multiply your score or reset it entirely. Contestants were then given long strings of cells that were being hit with a mallet and told to calculate total scores. Seriously, these case studies are bananas. And if you want to see exactly how bananas, you can buy any of them or even try some of them for free from the Financial Modeling World Cup website. The only thing that all of these cases have in common is that they all see players being given 100 questions for a total of 1,000 points. And these all have to be done in just 30 minutes. So that's going to sound like a lot. That would mean you have to answer a question about every 18 seconds. But here's the thing. These questions come in increasingly difficult batches of 20 questions. For example, please tell us how many votes the Purple Party got in each of the following 20 elections. Here are the election results. Now, you could answer these questions individually by counting up the votes. This is known as the manual route, and XL athletes do it only in case of emergency. What you instead really want to do is create a formula or function that can answer each of these 20 questions for you. So you don't spend 18 seconds answering each question. You instead spend 5 minutes creating a formula or editing the data so you can slap it with a function, and then you just run it 20 times. Bam, 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 bam. Just a side note here, VBA, or Visual Basic for Applications, is a coding language that runs within Excel and lets you modify Excel's functionality. So, a great Excel athlete might know Excel's 484 features back to front, or they might just be good enough at Visual Basic that they can just code the function they want during the battle. Now, ideally, Andrew says, these case studies offer 3 things. 1, they rely on a game or system that the audience understands. 2, there's a variety of ways to get to the solution using Excel. And 3, a really strong player is able to solve all the questions within 30 minutes. This doesn't always go to plan. In 2021, a case called Excelopolis that was loosely based on the video game Civilization was so hard that Diarmuid Early, aka the LeBron James of Excel, got a total of 8 points out of 1,000, narrowly beating his opponent who got just 6 points. And actually, Diarmuid and his opponent both got those points by guessing, which is not only a legit strategy in Excel battles. If you want to do so quickly and with some Excel flair, you can use the command randbetween to have Excel generate your answers for you. Because who has the time to invent answers to 100 questions? I had a chat with Oz de Soleil, XL eSports commentator and the man behind the XL on Fire YouTube channel to talk about what makes a great Excel athlete.
I don't think of me as an Excel beast. I look at people like John Peltier, Ryan Wade, George Mount. Those people are scary. Sergey Baklan. They start merging Excel with R and Python. I see myself as just this dirty rogue. I know how to get some shit done. I know that. And it might be ugly. It might take me a long time. These are a different breed of people. And they're using all these keyboard shortcuts, and they've got their strategies, and they're pulling out all these obscure functions.
What to you is an obscure function of Excel? Could you name a couple of them?
I would say mmult, but I don't know how to use it. I couldn't explain it. I saw it yesterday.
What's that? mmult?
Mmult, yes. Woo, that but another obscure function. I could name a lot, like kurtosis. That measures the skewness of a bell curve. I've never used it. I've seen it. I've fiddled with it,
There's also no question that speed is an issue. It's hotly debated within the competitive scene whether eSports combatants should use a mouse or just blast around the spreadsheet with keyboard shortcuts. And Andrew and Guy, the current world champion, does regularly reach speeds of 270 actions per minute, which isn't far off the 350 APM of the average professional StarCraft player. But according to him, winning isn't about speed, it's much more about strategy.
So it's not so much, I move the mouse fast or click around fast and that sort of thing. So you have to think ahead to what you're trying to achieve. Like you can't just look at question one or the first thing and then just solve question one. You want to think ahead and create a spreadsheet that can basically solve all of the questions in the case.
In other words, according to our world champion, these contests aren't about answering any of the 100 questions you're being asked, but are instead about whipping up an architecture within the spreadsheet so you never have to. But according to him, this is also a very good way for a novice to score 0 out of 1,000 points.
I would be worried that I get in the situation where I try and build the solution, but it's, I need a bit more than half an hour. So let's say I need 40 minutes to solve the whole case. If I try and build the solution, and then get up to like 28 minutes and then realize, I'm nowhere, right? Then I'm actually on 0 points. So it's all or nothing.
With all that in mind, it was time for me to try one of these cases myself. And so I went to my colleague Chris's house to see if we could overcome our total lack of Excel experience by working cooperatively. All right, Chris, before we begin, we've got an inspirational message that I'm now going to play you, sent to us by Oz du Soleil.
Thanks, Oz.
Emotionally, you go in
Emotionally
saying this thing is not going to beat my ass. I'm going to beat its ass. That's the thing.
Right.
You got to, because you might get a busted lip, but you respond with a mean left hook.
Jesus. Excel's so much more violent than I anticipated.
All right, are you ready to see the actual case we're doing?
I'm ready. That man is amazing.
That man, he knows he can't save us, so all he can do is gas us up.
I'm gassed.
Okay, right, here we go.
In this task, FMWC Open participants are military advisors to the warlord of a fantasy medieval country of Wincha. Wincha is always at war with its neighboring country Loblenia. Their goal is to model a possible outcome of a military engagement between the two armies under various scenarios. The answer should be the total number of health points, HP, remaining for the winning army.
Speaking my language.
Both armies employ the same types of military units, knights, infantry, and archers.
That's a horse.
Each unit has its own characteristics, health power, shooting power, and attack power.
Okay.
The model assumes that the battle takes place as a series of turns.
It's basically a paradox.
Every turn both armies make damage to each other simultaneously. The total amount of damage is attack power times the number of attacking units.
Right. That seems
All
very
the
straightforward.
damage initially goes to infantry, then to knights, and then to archers.
Okay.
Wait, say that again.
We'll have all this written down.
Oh God, I'm panicking.
I'm starting to get stressed as well.
If the Winzian army does 1,000 points of damage to the Lobenian army, 33 Lobenian infantrymen are killed and 1 is wounded. The wounded infantryman will be able to attack in full next turn, but will now have only 20 health points left. There are 5 levels of complexity for this task.
We would have 30 minutes to answer as many questions as possible, and we would be racing the Ghosts of the World Champions playthrough, which is available on YouTube. Also, for some reason, we decided that Chris would steer the mouse and I'd be on keyboard. Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
I hate this. Okay, go. Okay, right, scroll down.
Scroll down.
Right,
okay.
so, level 1. How many hit points
Does the army of Windsor have at the beginning of the battle? At the beginning of the battle, if they start with the following number of units, that's easy. That's easy.
Okay, wait. So, but wait. Archers 20. We can do a formula for this.
Yeah.
We have the power. Okay, right. Hang on. I'm gonna bring it lower.
Oh God.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Great.
Well, should we not put like the 100 and the 30 and the 20 in a separate?
Doesn't matter.
Because then we can reference them.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, we can. Okay, right. Okay.
And then let's delete those. And then
Didn't need to delete those, did we?
Oh no, you.
Oh my God! Jesus.
Do you know what we could have done?
That was a minute and 10.
Do you know what we could have done? We could have just gone Control C.
That would have required real coordination.
Look at that!
Okay, right. Look. So equals.
And in
open brackets. Click on that cell.
Times by
asterisk.
What is that? That's knights,
100.
isn't it? No, you don't need to do. No, oh well, okay. And then
Okay, close brackets. Plus open brackets.
That
I love
times.
this.
Yeah, we got it. We're going.
I love this. I'm having so much fun. Okay. And then drag that down.
Let's see if that.
Yes! Oh my God. At 26 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, we were actually ahead of world champion Andrew and Guy. We had 50 points out of 1,000 to his 0 as he focused on developing his spreadsheet.
Times how much they shoot, which is 5. That's the answer.
Yeah. Control C, Control V.
Ooh. There we go. Okay, that's the answer.
Sweet. Now drag that.
Why does that just say true over there now? Why does that just say true? The word
Excel
true.
has many mysteries. We're not going to solve them all in our first battle. Right, scroll that shit down. Right. 5 minutes in, Andrew had now answered the same questions we had, with both of us on 120 points. But with the third block of questions, things got ugly.
How many health points will remain for the winning team?
Oh no. Okay.
Infantry only. Why does it say infantry only?
Because there's only infantry. Oh, it starts easy, so we could math this out personally. Because it's 2 infantry dealing. Oh, paste off thing.
Right. We're bringing this down again.
Yes.
Oh, what? Why? Who's this? Ah! Yeah. So so each one that is a point on its own.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Should we get our working out just done over?
Have some water, otherwise you're not going to. While Andrew had been making a table for 5 minutes, our team had a genius realization. Oh my God.
That's so...
We need to make a table. We need to do something like this.
Army 1, Army 2, and then round 1, round 2.
Yeah. Do you want to give it that C column a double click?
I absolutely do. There we go. That's good. So,
okay, then attack.
Like, listen, if we don't get no, I'm sorry. If we mess around with the table now and we get everything right,
you know what? This is the cornerstone. This kind of thinking is exactly what Excel battles are all about.
Oh, I thought that was the doggo striking. It was your knee. Okay.
The syntax of round down is to use the function name
followed by the number of decimal points. No decimal points. So, comma 0.
Hey!
1. Hey!
Okay.
Oh, we need actually. Oh my God! Uninjured infantry. We actually also need is there a wounded infantry? Because there is.
We're not rounding down. We're rounding up.
But next time around, the injured person has less hit points left. We're not reflecting that.
Oh, we need a hit point column, which is what we had before. Living.
Oh, I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it.
No. We're good.
That means that...
You know what I hate about this? The fact that we've got recurring percentiles rather than hit points. The actual answer is how many hit points do we have left?
No, it's how many infantry. It's this one here.
Level 3.
Yeah, so it's...
how many health points will remain? Okay, so...
Could we just drag this one down, actually? Because, sorry, I dragged the other bit as well. No. But that is the correct answer. That is actually the correct answer, but that's...
Oh, no, but maybe this then works. Maybe our answer row will always be a bunch of error messages
and then
the correct answer.
Sure, man, that might be it.
And then...
And the same on that one.
Delete this bottom line then, and we can drag the... Can we get rid of this? Like, you're stressing me out.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh!
150! 150! That's the answer! That's actually the answer!
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, well done.
Yes!
150!
We'd done it! But our horrible mutant table had one problem. We had to paste the data to and from it for each question manually.
50 and 51.
50, 51. Let's pop the numbers in. So 50.
Oh, we got it. Let's drag
Drag that baby down.
Wait, no, we went into the negative. That's why. Put the answer in.
Yeah.
Okay, right. We can't be pasting this every time.
We don't need to. Well, oh, what? As in, like, you want?
There has to be a way
Dude,
to.
you can't be talking. You can't
Well,
be
then
what,
look-
like generating some kind of crazy table that just does it on its own. What are you talking about?
Okay, fine. There's got.
You can't. It's only a computer program.
Okay.
It's not a brain.
Fine. Well, then let's just keep pasting it. 2,
330?
3, 330. That feels absolutely absurdly good. Okay.
No
Okay.
video game has ever made me feel like this.
I know.
Oh, God, that counts. That
Okay.
counts.
Yeah, while we were happy about our table, in the final analysis we got absolutely creamed. Within his 30 minutes, Andrew had built something that looked like the accounts of a small business, which automatically solved all but the hardest battles for him. Still, Chris and I were over the moon with what we'd achieved.
I am shocked. I really thought we would get like 5 points out of 100. Look at all these juicy answers. Admittedly, level 1 and 2 is something
We're
anyone can
child's
do.
play, but
Yeah.
level 3 I felt amazing to figure out.
The fact that wait, where's our working out? The fact that look what
Look-
we
look-
made.
look at that,
Look what we made without unnecessarily not the table.
And you have to then search through for where it is.
How did that feel? Because I was genuinely not expecting that to be fun.
Honestly, like pure elation getting that right. They were absolutely right. All the tips about getting things laid out properly before you start. I'm still not. We don't really know what percentage infantry means, but we do.
Sure we do.
But we do.
Yeah, no, you're
right.
You're right. But it's funny that if we now scroll to the back of the case, because the later questions are worth so much more. Like you have to work out level 5 at some point.
Yeah.
So first strike possible, no archers. I mean, just Jesus. The idea of how would we have done knights and infantry? Never mind archers. Knights and infantry would mean we would need a separate.
Yeah, because they're attacking the infantry first. Oh,
yeah, the infantry
God.
lose health, but the knights are doing damage.
Oh my God.
So you'd need 2 tables that interacted with each other.
You've taken it. I had elation, and you've taken it from me. You've made it look small and worthless.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, but we've just got one more fun thought for you to end on. We asked Andrew whether he thought any other programs from Microsoft's Office suite would make good esports.
It would be interesting to see tournaments in Power BI or in some dashboarding or charting. I would probably say that it would be something similar like ice skating and ice hockey, with Excel eSports being the ice hockey, like how many goals you score, that's your score, and like everything like more or less objective. For ice skating, that would be something like what's the judge's mark on how beautiful is your chart looking, how beautiful is your dashboard, does it contain all the data or not? But that would be very interesting to see how people are making beautiful pictures, beautiful dashboards, beautiful charts.
So who knows? Maybe People Make Games will be back in a couple of years covering the world of Power BI eSports. Thanks, everybody. And hey, listen, if you liked this video, all the work that People Make Games does is because of our patrons over at patreon.com/peoplemakegames. Seriously, you get no money from YouTube advertising whatsoever. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, your donation absolutely makes a difference to our entire team, me and the people behind the camera. Thanks, you two. Thanks. They're not speaking because they're professionals and they know it won't get picked up. Oh, okay. Woo. Yeah. Thanks. Not all of this book is exciting, but I did highlight some of my favorite bits. This is from the author of this edition. Huge thanks to the owners of Cascade Cigar and Tobacco in Happy Valley, Oregon, where much of this book was written over cigars. Excel is your weapon, and you get to pick. Is Excel your sword, magic wand, tow truck, soldering iron, or is Excel the web you shoot from your wrist to ensnare miscreants? Good, honest people are counting on us. How do I master Excel? Short answer, No one masters Excel. But you use Excel as a tool to whoop crap data into shape, end misery, stave off confusion, be the hero for the people the data is connected to. That, my friend, is a venerable mission. You just received some data, but can you trust this data? Do not just dive in, us boulders. It's like you're looking at beautiful blue water 10 feet below. Soft waves caress the white sand. You tell yourself, this is the definition of a Saturday morning. 3, 2, 1, splash, straight into the smack of stinging jellyfish. That is the world of guerrilla data analysis. To find yourself in the heat of data conflict without formal training, and you need to make something happen.